Hey fellow adventurers, my name is Victor Chosen and welcome to the channel. Join me as we explore the world's most incredible destinations, experience unforgettable events and dive into unique cultures. From thrilling adventures in far-off lands to uncovering the best local festivals and cultural celebrations, I am all about exploring what makes each place unique and unforgettable. So whether you're looking for travel tips, festival fun or just some awesome travel inspiration, hit that subscribe button and join the journey. I'm in the northern French department of Wiz. I'm in a commune called Senlis. It's full of history, stories of kings. Also, you can see behind me that is the Cathedral Notre Dame, and also the streets for people who love stories of back in the days, the ancient times. It's the one place that is rich of this kind of history. So I want to show you this place. We move around together, and when you're in Paris or in France, it's not far from Paris by there. It's just an hour. It's a place you can come. It's a very good place for a day trip. So let me show you around. Let's walk around and see how the city is, or this commune of Senlis is. The monarchs of the early French dynasties lived in Senlis. Attracted by the proximity of the Chantilly forest, it is known for its Gothic cathedral and other historical monuments. Its inhabitants are called Senlisiens and Senlisiennes. Geographically, Senlis is situated on the River Nonette between the forests of Chantilly and d'Emonville in the south and the Halat on the north. It is located 40 kilometers to the north of Paris, 44 kilometers from Beauvais, and 79 kilometers from Amiens. The highest point of the town is around 140 miles, lies at the heart of the forest Halet, and the lowest point is located on the banks of the Nonette. West of the city, geologically, the area is occupied by a vast limestone plateau of the Lutetian covered mostly in silt. And this is where it even gets more interesting for the historians. This is your part. Senlis was known in the early Roman imperial times as Augustomagus and later as Civitas Silvanetium, city of the Silvanectes. During the 3rd century, a 7-meter high defensive wall, about half of which still exists, was erected around the settlement in response to Frankish incursions. Don't even ask. I know by now you're wondering who are the Franks. The Franks were originally a group of Germanic people who lived near the Rhine River military border of Germania Inferior, of which this was the most northerly province of the Roman Empire in continental Europe. The Frankish tribes lived for centuries under varying degrees of Roman hegemony and influence. But after the collapse of Roman institutions in Western Europe, they took control of a large empire, including areas which had been ruled by Rome, and what it meant to be a Frank began to evolve. And once more deeply established in Gaul, the Franks became a multilingual Catholic Christian people who subsequently came to rule over several other post-Roman kingdoms, both inside and outside the old empire. In a broader sense, much of the population of Western Europe were eventually described as Franks. Senlis also featured a Roman amphitheater, the remains of which are visible about 500 meters west of the walled town. The amphitheater seated as many as 10,000 people and was used for public meetings, theater, gladiatory combat, and animal hunts. The monarchs of the early French dynasties lived here, attracted by the proximity of the Chantilly forest and its Venetian, and built a castle on the foundations of the Roman settlement. In the year 987, Archbishop Adalbero of Rheims, by the keep on watching in my videos, you'll see the city of Rheims. I've done a story about it. He called together an assembly and asked them to choose Hugues Capet as the king of France. However, the monarchs of France soon abandoned the city, preferring Compiègne and Fontainebleau. New life was given to the city in the 12th century and ramparts were built. The popularity of the city later fell and it slipped into decline. The town of Senlis saw fighting in World War I, with the Germans occupying the town. In early September 1914, the mayor Eugene Odent was executed by the Germans along with 6 other civilian hostages: a tanner, a cutter, a cave waiter, a chauffeur, a baker's helper, and a stone cutter. In addition, the train station and the courthouse were burned down along with other buildings. The town was later liberated the same year by the French army. Senlis fell under the ownership of Hugues Capet in the year 981. He was elected king by his barons in the year 987 before being crowned at Noyon under the Capetian rule. Senlis became a royal city and remained so until the reign of King Charles. That was around the year 1824 to 1830. A castle was built during this period whose remains are still visible today. And now let me show you a hidden gem in Senlis that you have to see. This place is called Lucasho. Okay, so my beautiful people, today I'm in the first historic place here in Senlis, and apparently I'm lucky enough to be with the proprietor of the place. He can tell you a brief story and a brief history about the place. So you can introduce yourself and continue.
I am the proprietor of this site, and it's 12th century, and in the cellar I found 2 archaeological discovery. One of 12th century and another of 17th century.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. So guys, whenever you are in Senlis, you can come here. It's called Lucasho, and in English is the dungeon. That's another meaning. And one of the main reasons I came here is because when I was young, I used to watch William Tell. And the William Tell, there used to be things like crossbow and all these things. But now apparently I'm seeing them. So this is a very good place. When you happen to pass in Senlis, make sure you visit here. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's a wonderful old man with stories and full of knowledge and wisdom and history. So, this place, every Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m., the dungeon offers a narrated historical tour of the cellar with the discovery of its archaeological treasures. A truly authentic Indiana Jones adventure. The price of the tour includes a drink. Group tours are available during the week for groups of 4 or more. The dungeon, dating from the year 1249, is both a tavern with a medieval tea room and a shop and an inn they have occasional catering with the organization of historical storytelling, dinners by candlelight, dealing with the great enigmatic themes of history. Mysterious discoveries are presented in the 12th century Romanesque cellar museum, revealing archaeological remains from the 13th and the 17th century, as well with intact 13th century pottery and a dungeon behind a 17th century wall. And for sure, this place is full of history. There's a lot of things to see. You can see even the spears. Even sit down and wonder how they could manage to do this back in the 12th century. And also remember to look for these cute little friends always on the floor. The city reached its apogee in the 12th and 13th century. Trade in wool and leather increased, while vineyards began to grow. With an increasing population, the city expanded and needed new ramparts. The second chamber was erected by Philip II. That was a larger and a higher than the ramparts of Gallo-Romans. A municipal charter was granted to the town in the year 1173 by King Louis. The Bishop of Senlis and the Chancellor Guillaume became close advisors to the king, strengthening Senlis' ties to the French royalty. In the year 1265, the bailiwick of Senlis was created with a vast territory covering the Beauvais and the French Vexin. In 1319, the town, crippled by debt, passed into control of royalty. Senlis was devastated by the 100 Years of War, but managed to escape destruction despite being besieged by the Armagnacs. Senlis' economy suffered heavily and will have to wait until the 15th century for another boom, during which many buildings were built or restored. In 1493, King Charles of France, the 8th of France, son of Louis, signed the Treaty of Senlis with the Duke of Burgundy, Maximilian I of Austria. And also on this day, somebody got lucky to get married to the love of their life. Today, it remains an attraction for tourists for its long history and its links to the French monarchy. That's why even me have visited to see this beautiful city.